So hi everyone and welcome to the channel. Today's a bit of a thought process on weather. I am no Simon Keeling. His meteorology understanding is fantastic, and I'd love to have that level of knowledge and access to information that can predict the weather as well as he does. However, as you can probably see behind me, it's pretty foggy. Now, fortunately, I started to make a video about sort of the day in the life of the process that Mark and I do every morning. You'll join me in a minute. Basically, let's go there now. Right, morning everybody. Hello, welcome to the channel. A little bit, possibly, of what it's like being a flying instructor. So hopefully, if the weather plays ball today, I'll be able to make this video, and that's partly what we're doing now. As you've probably seen, the alarm's gone off, and Mark and I both do this first thing in the morning. And the first thing we do every morning is check the weather. What I'll probably do now is, you won't see what I'm doing, but I've a trusty tablet. I'm just going to log on, check the Met Office pilot briefing service. Now, a lot of people use different types of apps. As I said, my go-to easy one is MetCheck. A bit on the screen now, but that's not good enough for what we need to do. So when we're checking the weather, I am literally going to either Manchester, because today we're off to Dairy House Farm, Cheshire Microlights, which is the other school that we operate from. So I'll be checking Manchester's METAR when it's woken up. Quick check of the METAR, and then I'm going to go into the 215 and 214. Come on, wakey. And these are all the bits that that nobody really sees when we call a day on for flying. And say we're up early, just trying to make sure that either the day is flyable or it's not flyable, and so that has to be done by checking the weather. So Manchester, warning, fog. So the METAR for EGCC, which is Manchester, day, which is the 1st of December, 0650Z. It's an automatic reduced. Wind is variable at 2 knots, so we're right smack bang in the middle of a high at the moment. 7,000 meters over. So that's the METAR. Let's go and actually look at the briefing chart. So significant weather. Excuse the voice first thing in the morning. Synoptic for the UK. And I have a very easy rule: for every ISO bar over the UK, add 5 miles an hour. So we've got 2. Camera's fallen over. Feels like me at the minute. So that is very light winds, right in the middle of a high at the minute. And that's valid from midday today. So yeah, very light winds. And the weather we need is area C. So again, this is the, if it'll do it, there's the 215 area C. Hopefully I'll snapshot that and zoom in. Occasionally 3,000 meters in mist, isolated 200 meters, fog and freezing fog on the land, widespread hill fog. So let's see, that's going to be interesting. And then let's look at the weather, the wind, the 214 for the wind. For those that haven't seen a 214, this is what a 214 looks like. So there's a 214. And in the box for where we are, because it gives a lat and long for location. The first column is height in thousands of feet. Then you've got the wind direction, and then you've got the wind speed, and then the temperature at that height. And that's where you can work out your lapse rate. Yeah, weather doesn't look too bad if the fog goes. So let's see what the journey brings. Anyway, enough gabbling on. So that's what we're doing. That's how we do the weather assessment each morning. and then I relay that to Mark's experience as well, because as much as you can read all these, there is the local weather. Anyway, that's a lot for the intro for this video. Let's get on the road. That was about 6:30 this morning, and that was the weather we were looking at to try and identify whether the day was going to be flyable or not, because we're not just looking for our own personal flying. And the rules that we run, there's different types of weather. There's weather that I will personally fly in, as in it's got different limits. There's weather that I'll do a trial flight in, and there's weather I'll do a lesson in. You know, no horizon, no lesson, because if you can't see a horizon, they're not going to benefit from being able to fly without horizon. Anyway, so that weather forecast, and hopefully I'll have put some screenshots up on there, that was the Form 215 and the Form 214 that we were looking at and trying to understand whether it was going to be flyable or not, or whether it was going to become flyable. And that's the key thing, you know, can we get at least some of the students through and training? The main point is that trying to understand the Form 215 and 214 is the art, and that's where people like Simon Keeling come in, and we also do this within the ground school side of meteorology. Now, I'm not one for plugging things, but over the years of trying to learn Met and retain it, this book, it's very, very well labelled, is probably the best book I've ever found for understanding. And the rule is, if it's got pink in the page, I'm trying to find one that's got pink in the page. If it's got pink on a page, they're the slightly more advanced bits, and that's where my brain goes, I want to understand more, I want to understand more. And this is where Rob Grimwood as well was bashing our brains on our ground school for the instructor side to actually understand the why. And this is what I find when I chat to a lot of people, that understanding the why about weather. If I said to a lot of people about lapse rate, and they go, whatever, I look specifically for lapse rates, especially in the summer, because that means that's where I'm going to fly above a certain layer to get a better lapse rate, as in more stable air. And if you don't understand that aspect of when you're reading a 214, 215, with a METAR, stands for this, for a TAF, stands for this. If you pull all that information together, and you do it regularly, you'll suddenly really quickly, within minutes, look at a 214 and 215 and go, I'm staying in bed, or I'm not going to bother flying today because it's just going to be rough. And we want to enjoy our flying. So anyway, it's a bit of a short video this week. It's getting harder and harder to get some flights in for myself, and so I was hoping to try and fly today for myself, but as you can see, I don't even have 1.5 kilometers, and I wouldn't even think about it for myself, even for a short circuit. But anyway, so understanding weather has been one of my Achilles heels, and I've tried really hard over the years to understand the why, to allow myself to enjoy the skies more comfortably, be it paramotoring, be it paragliding, because the gliding fraternity want different weather conditions, and we all want to use the sky in different ways. So we will leave this video here. Hopefully it's just a bit of a short content. Sorry if it feels like I'm plugging a book, but I've got nothing to do with this book, but I say you can find it wherever you want to. We sell it here, but it's a really good book to allow you to get into that nitty-gritty granular side to understand why. And I say a good pilot never stops learning. So anyway, I'll leave this video here. Hopefully that's been of use. So if you've got any comments and want me to dig into a little bit more, hopefully you'll have seen my questions and answers video. So if you haven't snuck a comment in on either the Instagram or the video comment and you want a question answered, so chuck it in there. But we'll leave this video here, and until next time, fly safe, and hopefully it's not as foggy as it is behind me.